in the whole country that has never elected a woman to be governor. That will change tonight. Abigail Spanberger hopes she's the one.
All right, Jeff Zeleny in Richmond. CNN's Eva McKend is in Leesburg, Virginia, at the Winsome Earl Sears campaign headquarters. And Eva, you have some new reporting about how the Earl Sears campaign feels in these closing minutes.
Well, Jake, they remain clear-eyed about the difficult environment right now for Republicans in Virginia, but they are standing by how they ran this race. So core to the lieutenant governor's election argument was leaning into a debate that President Donald Trump very much did in 2024, and that is the policies that govern transgender children in public schools when it comes to bathroom policies, when it comes to sports teams. And in asking them about it, they maintain that it was an important messaging tool, especially to reach non-white voters in Northern Virginia. And when you speak to them, they say that it wasn't the only issue that they focused on, but a key component of their strategy. Now, as for the lieutenant governor, she never really entertained defeat. She continued campaigning throughout the day, praying with supporters, going to diners. She'll watch the returns tonight, Jake, with her 2 adult daughters and her husband here in Leesburg. Jake?
All right, polls close in 3 minutes and 15 seconds. I want to go to CNN's John King, who is here at the Magic Wall with me. When the vote starts to come in from Virginia in literally just minutes, what are you going to be looking for?
Every vote matters, of course, but if Winsome Earl Sears is to have a chance in this state, it's going to be right here. That's in Northern Virginia. Those are the Washington, D.C. suburbs. Anywhere between a third and 40% of the vote, by the time we count them up, is going to come from the more populated D.C. suburbs. Now, can it be done? Can it be done? Well, Glenn Youngkin proved 4 years ago it can be done. Now, you're looking at these D.C. suburbs, and they're all blue, right? They're all blue. That you can win. You can win as a Republican and lose the suburbs, but you have to get closer. Look at Prince William County. He's at 42% in Prince William County. This county is very important to me tonight for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's one of the farther out suburbs. Number two, it has the highest percentage of Latino voters in Virginia by county.
Who are trending,
who have moved toward Trump, trending toward conservatives. Can she sell that message here? But look at Youngkin at 42%. Now I'll come back to the presidential race in 2020. Donald Trump lost Virginia in 2020 and 2024. But look, in 2020, Trump gets 36 if you round that up. And then in 24, Donald Trump's number goes up to 39. Trump's support among Latinos, especially among Latino men, is growing. It was not enough in Virginia, not in 2024. You know, Harris still won, but she wins by 5 or 6 if you round that up. When Joe Biden won, if you go back here, he won by 10. So there is a trend in Virginia, especially among men of color, like we've seen nationally, like will matter a lot in the next midterm elections next year, by the way. So you're looking at these states tonight. Oh, Virginia, is it a blue state or a purple state? New York, New Jersey. A lot of the country's probably saying, why do I care? It's not like my state. Right. The voters tonight in these key places are the same kind of voters. They're going to settle the battle for control of the House. They're going to settle the big governor's races on the ballot in the midterm election year. They're going to settle whether Donald Trump has a Democratic speaker for the last 2 years of his term. So as you watch this come out, right up in here, and then you come here, Fairfax is the number one. It's the most populous county in the state. And again, this here, Glenn Youngkin, we were talking about this off camera. Yeah. Glenn Youngkin talked a lot about education, giving parents more say over school committees, more say over local politicians, right? Winsome Sears has done the same thing, but her tone has been very different. Her tone has been more harsh. It has been more Trumpy. So this is the largest county in the state. It is a huge D.C. suburb. And again, Glenn Youngkin he lost, right? 35% of the vote, if you round that up. He only got 35% of the vote. But remember, in elections that are settled by such close margins, sometimes your margin, even where you lose, matters. Winsome Sears, like Glenn Youngkin, has to perform in the 40s, in the high 30s, in the D.C. suburbs to have any chance, because that's where the people live. And then, Jake, another big question tonight is this. You have all these other Republican candidates who are trying to run like Donald Trump. Remember what Donald Trump does in rural America, right? Can they not only win those counties with the percentages that they need, but can they get voters to come out of the woodwork in rural America, including rural Virginia, like Donald Trump does?
Fascinating stuff. And voting is about to end in the first big race of the night, the Commonwealth of Virginia and the governor's race. Will Democrats win back the Commonwealth's governor's mansion, or will Republicans buck history and hang on to it? We have a key race alert for you now. And it is too early to call. The polls just closed, so we do not know exactly what to make of things. But David Chalian has some new exit polls looking at how key demographics in Virginia are feeling tonight, and that could provide us with some clues. David?
It could indeed, Jake. Take a look here among female voters in Virginia. Now that polls have closed, we can show you that Spanberger is walloping Earl Sears among female voters. She's getting 61% of female voters, according to these preliminary exit polls, and these numbers can shift as the night goes on and we get more information from voters. Earl Sears only getting 37% of female voters. This is a much wider margin than McAuliffe had over Youngkin 4 years ago with female voters. Independent voters. Youngkin won independent voters by 9 points 4 years ago. Look at this. Spanberger is winning independent voters by 15 percentage points, and they make up a third of the electorate in Virginia. Critical voting bloc. Suburban voters, you were just talking at the wall with John about those critical northern Virginia suburbs. 57% of the electorate comes from the suburbs. Spanberger's winning them by 13 points, 56 to 43. Again, Youngkin was winning them by 7 4 years ago. And the split among federal worker households, this is critical with DOGE, with the shutdown, real impact. 22% of the electorate comes from federal worker households. Spanberger, 61% to Earl Sears, 37%. Jake?
Those are some pretty stark numbers, David Challey. And I mean, Dan Abash, if I'm with the Spanberger headquarters, I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the last one, 61% of federal workers say they are voting for Spanberger. As John was saying, it's like 150,000 federal workers in Virginia, but we're in the middle of a shutdown. And people have not gotten paychecks in a month, and they're going to vote. What do you expect them to be doing? I talked earlier to a Republican who has done a ton of work for decades in Virginia, who said you cannot express in a more profound way how much shutdowns hurt Republicans. No matter what happens, hurt Republicans when Virginians go to vote during a shutdown. It's just the historical trend.
I think it's also worth pointing out, Jake, that Abigail Spanberger did not draw the strongest Republican candidate that we have ever seen run for governor in Virginia. And strength of candidate really matters here. I mean, this was to the point that President Trump didn't even endorse here in this race, even though it's right in his backyard, right? So I think Spanberger benefited from being a strong candidate herself, but also in facing someone who doesn't have the typical strength that you see here.
Well, I have a lot of thoughts on everything that you said. Well, let's go back to the issue about the government shutdown. Historically, Republicans have been the ones that have caused the shutdowns, right? I mean, they're the ones, and I'm only specifically talking about whether or not they vote to fund the government when it goes to the House, when it goes to the Senate. Democrats are the ones that are not voting to fund the government. Now, I understand why they're doing so. They're doing so because of health care, and they want to fight, and they want Republicans to negotiate, et cetera, et cetera. The messaging by Democrats around this shutdown has been sharper than I've seen Democrats on any issue in a long time. They have convinced voters, Democratic voters and independent voters, that it's the Republicans' fault. And just on the numbers, that might not be actually accurate. Well, in terms of who's voting to open the government and who isn't. Again,
you're right. No, you're absolutely right about that.
I know why they're doing it. They're doing it because of health care policy and some really big issues that voters have. But it's just interesting to me.
And what tends to happen is pox on all their houses. But again, if you are a voter and you haven't gotten a paycheck and you understand that